when you become a parent, you obviously you want everything the best. You create your own, how you say it, like ideal world of your child, that your child is gonna be like this, you gonna be parent like that. And the reality completely different. Child is coming with his own way of expressing himself or herself, right? And then when I realized I've been a sort of too much perfectionist, which is it inherited by our parents, the way the parents are conditioning us. uh, I'm going to accept you if you do so and so. This is the conditioning. This is, I call in my program, I call it, there are some villains of conscious parenting, and this is one of them.
Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories, a podcast designed to inspire single parents. Here you'll find resources from self-care to finances to parenting and everything in between. Discover what it takes to thrive. Let the stories inspire you to what is possible. And welcome to Single Parent Success Stories. Today we have a special guest, Nargis Khamdamova. She is a compassionate community health worker, wellness coach, and brain health advocate dedicated to empowering individuals to unlock their full potential. With 3 children of her own, Nargis is also a devoted, conscious parenting enthusiast, guiding parents of teenagers through peer support groups with empathy and understanding. With a client-centric approach and empathetic skills, Nargis creates a safe and nurturing environment for individuals to explore their well-being. Her passion for brain health and wellness is contagious, inspiring others to prioritize self-care and holistic living. Welcome, Nargis. It is a pleasure to have you.
I am delighted. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So please share with us who you are in your own words.
In my own word, I'm very passionate about storytelling, and I also love lots of things about the aviation. So I have 3 amazing kids who keeps me connected to my inner child, which is, I find it that I owe much of my creativity and much of my motivation to my children. And I love traveling, and I'm always in this search for the meaning, for the novelty. I like new things, try new things. Well, basically you can call it curiosity, driven by curiosity. And I really, really love cultural diversity and different languages.
Oh, we have that in common.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's right.
What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Happy makes me, I think, when I wake up and I am able to, this, I think it's changed a little bit with the time, with experience. The perception of happiness, it changes. I'm sure you know that too. If before, what used to make me happy, going out with my friends and trying crazy things, like with a zero assessment of, like a safety when we are younger, right?
Right.
The level of responsibility is like completely different perception for young people. And then later on, it was different. Later on, it was like, oh, I need to be like, this, to learn this faster. This will make me happy. And right now, I reached my, stage of life and level of consciousness where I can see just happiness is just, from within. Simply, it's like you don't need to have external factors. You don't have anything else that, if you have that, if you do that, if this comes, then you're happy. And now I wake up in the morning and I'm so happy that I can open my eyes, I can still breathe. And I'm sometimes doing like this with my fingers, and I'm like, I can move my fingers. This is so much. So.
It's true. Yeah. Happiness comes from within, and sometimes we forget that when we seek external validations. How do you help people?
It's funny, if you ask about my essence, what is my essence? It's just, I think I'm a very good connector, and I like nurturing. Like how I help people. If you mean it right now with as my work, or you mean in general?
As your work,
As my work. Okay. So
as a conscious parenting coach.
oh, that's great one. Yes, thank you. As a parenting coach, I like to create that safe space to be there and to guide parents, first of all, to be completely present. It is very important to be present and to hear their story, and then helping them to unlock and to recognize the patterns in their life in general, not only parenting. In fact, the holistic approach, it's when you are bringing everything into equation. It's not just one parenting. It's not just one health problem. It's you bring all the things, small pieces, and they need to themselves like to go deeper, dive deeper to understand the patterns, to understand what makes them to make certain choices and to act certain way. And then after that, we uh, bring some strategies, but it's not immediately. And throughout all this way, it's more of a going to search yourself from within. In fact, when we do parenting, our children, it's like the continuation of our own child. This is what it is. And the things when we say the kid is like makes you upset, or he said that, he did that, how come he did that? And then the question is the invitation for a parent to check in with herself or himself, right? So if the child, teenager, especially in my case, triggers you in a certain way, it means there is something unresolved within you. There is something that the person is not addressing. There is something the person is just avoiding. And there is this unhealthy relationship with your inner thoughts. So I think all is about the thoughts, the mindset. And then it's amazing when it evolves, and when the parent herself or himself realizes, recognizes, and then start parenting from a place of understanding, from a place of being just accepting that in fact the child is by himself, a teenager is completely like has his own self-efficacy and autonomy, but he needs to express it in a different way. It just doesn't go according to parents' agenda, but we're so conditioned with that, so conditioned with that.
So true. How did you get at this point? How did you learn this is the way to be?
Of the parenting,
Yes.
it's interesting that's when I start learning from my own life experiences, because when we were kids, when we were teenagers, and in a certain way, when parents acted or said to us something, we were like, oh, when I grow up, I'm not gonna be a parent like this. I'm not gonna do this to my kids, right?
Right.
This is how. But then there is this interesting like phenomenon, or I don't know. When you become a parent, you obviously you want everything the best. You create your own how you say it, like ideal world of your child, that your child is gonna be like this, you gonna be parent like that. And the reality completely different. Child is coming with his own way of expressing himself or herself, right? And then when I realized I've been a sort of too much perfectionist, which is it inherited by our parents, the way the parents are conditioning us. uh, I'm going to accept you if you do so and so. This is the conditioning. This is, I call in my program, I call it, there are some villains of conscious parenting, and this is one of them. When you put conditional love, it just comes so automatically because it has been put on us like that.
Yeah.
And somehow, unconsciously, we're continuing the same pattern. So when I realized my pattern, I said, I'm putting too much expectation for my daughter, for my especially firstborn.
Mhm.
Firstborns, Irina, you put everything and you have this like expectation. So where is your A? So where is his? So how you are using your fingers on, piano? Like, did you do that? You should be this, you should be that perfect. And you put this expectation. And I've realized at some point, it was such an eye-opening for me. It was uh, like paradigm shift to myself. And I found the courage to say sorry, to apologize, but really in a way that it could land in my daughter's heart, the apology. Like completely accepting her nature. My mistake was I would always like, how come you're my daughter? You shouldn't be like that. Come on, go and talk. It's okay. It's just nothing. You can do that. And her nature is she's more of a very deep thinker, very introverted person, and she has this in public, she has this kind of phobia of big publics, agoraphobia, I think if it's called, if I'm not mistaken. And I couldn't accept that. No, look, I'm such an outgoing. I'm like, I can express myself. I can say this. I can do this. You can do that too. And that was such a really big no for a conscious parent, it's a villain. So, and I'm still continuously learning and growing, and I'm working on myself. It's not like, oh, I reached this level, I'm done, and I'm such a conscious parent. No, it is an ongoing process. It's like you work out your muscles of parenting. So I've learned from my mistakes, and my actually vision for parenting, I literally want to be a parent who is the kid would come, my teenager, and considers me as a safe place, trustworthiness, trust, someone to share their joy, and be such a good team. To me, it's like a very good teamwork. There is no like, I'm here authority. I'm your parent. You do as I say. So it's not gonna work. There is resistance growing, growing. The more you put your like, hey, it is like this. I'm not flexible. I'm rigid. I say because I'm right, because I know, because you're a child, because you belong to me. So, and I'm working every time. I'm doing self check-ins.
What is the most common issue that parents come to you with? What do you find?
The common issues like teenagers. Right now, currently, it's really the huge one is the technology. Using the technology, constantly being on the phone, completely ignoring the reality in home environment, and then the trust. These are the two. So this generation that we are right now dealing with, they're completely different. The speed of processing the things, obviously because we started in this AI technology era and information, and they're faster in processing. Like you can tell even the ways they communicate with each other, the teenagers, it's completely different. Like I have to decode it when I see the message of my daughter. Okay, what does that mean? It's just all like letters. you know but it's like it might be
Yeah.
5 6 sentences. And in the text
Is,
message of my Teenagers, it's like few letters. Now you need to find out. So they're completely different. And the thing is like, these are the main things that literally these are really main things. And just doesn't want to listen to me. She just like goes out, and I'm worried about. Of course, as a parent, you have anxiety. It is completely normal. You want your kid to be safe, right? And it's again comes to the point like, hey, take a deep breath, you know, everything is gonna be fine. Maybe it's not that way. Maybe it's like in your head, you are making the whole horror movie. Just invite, give a space, let them be, they will come, they will let you know. But just leave that space that you can trust them, that they have the capacity. But and if each time as a parent, if you continue doing like, hey, no, you gotta talk to me, you gotta do this, I've told you, why you don't want to, it creates, like I said, I'm repeating myself, resistance. The teenagers, in their way of thinking and how they perceive it and how it's landing in their heart, is like, just my parents don't get me, they don't trust me, they think I'm not good enough. This is how they see it. I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not trustworthy enough. Just leave that space. It's hard, I know, but I did that. It works.
Can you share one tool that can help you in your journey?
One tool that helped me in my journey, I just depending on communication, it's really, really important. Me as by trade, I'm a linguist, so I believe choosing the right word and expressing those right words, saying to the person who you know how he gonna receive, because we're all different in a way how we process the things, how we learn the things. Some people visual, some people they need to hear, some people you need to really show in your action. It's fair enough. You will realize yourself about your children, about your teenagers. So, and you choose the words wisely. So communication for me, it's a big part. And simply being non-judgmental, just don't judge. But it's normal because we are built, if you know how the brain works, it's completely normal. The brain is like this crazy scientist, it decides what is danger, it predicts what to do, and you have lots of uh, statements running in your mind. You're ready with your judgment. But in fact, just take a pause. Simple pause. Breathe in, take a pause, and choose the right word. Don't say like, hey, you gotta do this. You have to say, listen, I have been in your shoes. I've been a teenager. I know how much you want to do this. I understand that. But me, as being as a person who lived longer than you, um, done probably still more mistakes than you, and learned and I've seen, experienced the consequences of my mistakes. What I'm here for you to just explain you. If you do this, A, these are the consequences. If you choose B option, these are the consequences. And there is a C option. These are the consequences. Just be discerning, decide. Decision is completely up to you. This is where the word free will comes. I don't want to use it as a too much cliche, but it's truly when they consciously can see. But then you be responsible, right? If you go with A, it will be that. Do you understand that? I definitely don't want you to go through the road which has lots of unnecessary consequences. So the language is important. The way you use your sentence, your language, your message, it's important. That the words are not judgmental, that the words are not condescending, that the words are not like conditioning them, if you do this, or the words don't include labels. You don't start saying, or are you like, seriously, so and so? And this is a already, it's like a no as a negotiator.
Right, right. Thank you. Yeah, you make very good points. And we all have different perceptions on how we understand things, how we see things, because we all come with our own values and perceptions. So yeah, language is totally very, very important. And as parents, we gotta take a pause and just like you said before we react, think of a different way to express yourself without
Yes,
polluting, without using those bad words or that gonna bite you later.
yes, absolutely. Yes, because they will tell you this was also, I'm sorry, I have to say that, I have to interject that, if you allow me.
Go.
When you say we shouldn't do this, and then you yourself, you're doing this, and your child, how come, mom, you're telling us not to do this, and what are you doing yourself?
Right.
There is no excuse. So you gotta be show them it's completely normal. We are the same as you. I understand what you're going through. I've done mistakes. I've learned from my mistakes. I acknowledge my mistakes. I recognize it, and I'm gonna, accordingly take correction, decision, corrective decision. So it's very important.
Totally. What is your superpower if you
My
had to pick
superpower.
one?
I think it's connecting and bringing peace in any interaction, in any situation, in any event. My superpower is really to de-escalate and bring peace, that everyone is joyful. I think this is it.
Yeah, that's very important one. I love that. What kind of
Thank
advice would you give to your younger self?
to my younger self. Ah, would be probably the in terms of time, use the time in a right way. Create more time for beneficial things. And I think yes, and because I was quite daring child myself, I would go, like, if I set up my mind to do something, I would do that. So now I understand how much my parents were facing, like my attitude, my behavior in that way. Like it was hard for them, because I was daring. I like, hey, climb on a tree. Hey, do these jumps, do those things, dangerous things, and racing cars. I was doing, yeah, risk assessment was at that time like nothing gonna happen. I can do that. Like, no, I can imagine how much harder. Like the questions that my parents couldn't answer me, my my kids are answering right now. This is it.
Cool. Awesome. What kind of advice would you give to single parents?
To single parents, I think so that they shouldn't take too much on their shoulders. It's obviously, I'm not in a right place to advise anyone at all, but one thing I know, that when we take too much and trying to compensate for many things, that's hard on our energy budget. Our resources not unlimited. Our resources are limited. So, and when you say, oh, I have to do all these things, just find for yourself where you can simply use a Pareto's rule, 20/80 rule. Always do that. Always do self-check-in, and release, let it go. You don't have to. I think whatever in life happens to us, any event, doesn't matter what kind of event, positive, negative, I think it puts us in a way so that we are responsible for our own resources, our all this the entire system, mind, body, soul. That we say, okay, this has happened, but now I need to find more resource, more resources, like to save my energy. So it's really, it's not a place of advice. I cannot really advise, but I want to say that all single parents, that they are, the way they show up, the way they deal, the way they have their skills of, problem solving. It is like I'm up with both of my hands. I'm saying bravo, because it's not an easy one, like I said. And it's like when you're stepping up as a single parent, you're stepping up to be holding both sides of the energies, like your masculine energy, your feminine energy. And so what I'm trying to say for those parents, it's you're doing a great job. I am amazed by your courage. I'm amazed by your tenacity to move forward. So continue moving forward, but always remember the resources are limited. So use your resources wisely. By that, I mean your well being, your internal energy, where you spend too much, where you are like, uh, neglecting which areas of your own well-being, completely everything to do with your own ecosystem. I don't know if it does make sense.
Of course it does. Thank you. Yeah, it is important, yeah, resources are limited and we gotta replenish them. We're not energizer bunnies. We gotta charge up the batteries before we can be anything to anybody else. We gotta be something to ourselves first.
Yes.
So totally agree with that. Is there any book that kind of inspired you in the realm of conscious parenting that you can recommend?
The book, it was not, yeah, the books that I like to read, it's like not only just conscious parenting itself, but mainly it stems out from positive psychology, the happiness, the way to happiness, everything to do with your self-growth, like, because it's at the end of the day, it's all about your own consciousness, how you evolve. There are different intelligences, like there is, intellect, emotional intelligence, parental intelligence, then there is moral intelligence. There are so many different, intelligences for a person to develop and evolve. But the books which I really, it's the books about brain, brain health. It's I'm also a big fan of Ken Wilber about spectrum of consciousness. It's so powerful. It is so solid, and it has so many, evidence-based things and interesting facts. If you would like, I can give you the list of the books that I enjoy, because there are plenty, and you can share it with your community.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, I'd like that.
Awesome.
Any fun projects you're working on that you like to share?
Yes, currently I am really involved in this peer support group, because I find it quite beneficial, and the studies also show that it's very beneficial for us. If you look at it like, we're human beings, we're social animals, we interact with each other, we grow from each other, we affect each other. And peer support group, it's like you are not alone on this journey. And I'm doing it with a platform called Forum, and it has amazing groups depending on what you want. But myself, I'm really going into this because I would like to share so much, which I did not realize that I don't consider myself an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm just the one who continuously likes to learn and grow and to understand. So, and parenting seems like it just resonates with me so much. So this is my project. Join my peer support group. It is completely amazing journey. It is an ongoing group where like-minded parents gather together. It filled with insights, and I think everyone will benefit from it.
Awesome. Yeah. Is there anything I haven't asked that you like to share?
Oh, that's interesting. uh, I think no, it's pretty much this. But I'm sure when we together, when we talk, we have lots of things coming, and it's to me, it's a real pleasure to interact with you, and knowing how determined you are in many things. You are running so many projects. It's really inspirational. I have to say that. I'm sorry, but how you're inspirational, it's the way you do it. I just don't like to say to someone, "Oh, you're awesome," and that's it, let's go. No, I would like to say why you're awesome. So, you are very inspirational, Irina, and you hold within you the beauty inside and out. You're very intellectual, this being, and you have a heart. And I've noticed with you, you hold such a big space in your heart. You're always accepting of others. You always give other people to shine their light. This is very important. And I've noticed that with you. It's unbelievable. You really, with you, it feels such a, I don't know, not the word comfort. It's more than that. It's not coming right now, but this is how a person feels with you. And you're amazing the way you express yourself, not only as a woman, as a podcaster, as someone who is helping other people, as a coach, as a content creator. So I admire these things that I happen to, that our lives cross.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
You inspire me too.
Thank you. Thank you. If this happens, then thank you.
If people would like to connect with you, learn more about you, where would they go?
I think LinkedIn, and I have my email. I always like to, respond. It's always interesting for me. It just was a curiosity to understand someone is new, coming with something different. So, also website. I have a website and LinkedIn and this forum.
And what is your website?
I think just my name.
Okay. Awesome.
It's about mental clarity. It's mainly to do with mental ecosystem, mental clarity and excellence. If we exercise our, mental ecosystem, we keep it clean, like in terms of hygiene, like clean thoughts, flexible emotions, and we keep it constantly recycling. So I think it is an art, form of art. It's not easy, but person can get there. It's truly.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story and how you help people. And I think you bring a great value, with conscious parenting, especially in the age of today, and how different we were when we were growing up, and what kind of guidance we gotta provide for our kids. So thank you so much for what you do. It's been a pleasure to have you.
I am completely delighted to be part of your creation, and I appreciate you that you're letting me this space to share what I would like to share. It's my pleasure too, Irina.